This is Banter!
Crypto Banta for you. This is Crypto Banta. This is Crypto Banta. This is Crypto Banta. Crypto Banta for you. This is Crypto Banta. This is Crypto Banta. This is Crypto Banta. Crypto Banta for you. Smash that like.
Smash that like indeed, because it looks like Bitcoin has found some stability and alts, and in fact Ethereum is leading a new recovery, a new market recovery. The big question is, should we be positioning ourselves for a market recovery, or is this another fake out? Is there going to be another big Bitcoin sell-off? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Is there going to be another Bitcoin sell-off? Is this the recovery? And is the recovery being led by ETH? So stay tuned, my friends. Welcome back. I'm Crypto Man Run, and here I am. I'm back. You can see I'm still in like holiday mode. I haven't shaved yet, but I figured with the markets recovering like they're recovering, I've got to get back and I've got to start streaming for you guys. And I mean, even better is that we're actually a full team again. We're actually all back. I mean, Fred's back, Sheldon's back. So we are finally a full team. I mean, Freddie, are you back, my man?
Hello, my friend. I'm back, baby. Woo! And good to have you back, bro.
It looks like we lost Sheldon.
I think he snuck off for a quick coffee before the show starts.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, amazing. Welcome back, my man. I'm so glad to have you back. I'm sure the whole Banter family is glad to have you back. I'm going to get you off the back. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Subscribe to this channel because it is the most exciting, fastest growing crypto channel out there. And boys and girls, I am back, and we are going to revolutionize the way things are done here. There's so much going on here. I mean, for one, we're going to train 1 million people in Sniper School. And that brings me to a massive announcement. Sniper School, the actual Sniper School, is launching on the 1st of August. So 1 August, we are launching Sniper School. There is a plan. The plan is that we're going to educate 1 million people in 12 months in Sniper School. Not only that, so get this. Anybody that gets through Sniper School, every time you get through a module, you're going to get issued a blockchain certificate, a token on the blockchain, on the Arweave blockchain, which will live forever, okay, to say what modules you have passed. So all your modules will be logged on the Arweave blockchain, where, of course, because they're in Arweave, they will live forever. So amazing. Another thing which is probably worth talking about is the power of this unbelievable community. So remember Dallas. Remember that guy, Dallas, the fan who lives in Mexico and said, hey, if you ever come to Mexico, get hold of me. And I was like, get hold of him. I don't know him. I mean, who is he? And he kept texting me and saying, look, brother, come to Mexico. And so I did. I came to Mexico. Here I am. Guys, so what this guy didn't tell me was that he's some hotshot at some big hotel group in Mexico. I actually want to show you this. I have to show you this, okay? So he's a hotshot at this resort, which is called Garza Blanca. And I mean, he's a hotshot at this like chain of resorts. But he said, look, I have this resort. You can come and stay at this resort. I was like, yeah, skeptical, did I take him up on the offer? So he put me up at this resort. But not only did he put me up at this resort, which is possibly the most insane resort that I've ever seen in my entire life. And let me tell you, I've traveled the world. Restaurants, 10 pools, service at the touch of a button. I have my own concierge. But he also put me up in this room. Okay, now you can kind of see the room behind me, but it doesn't show you anything. Let me show you what my room, well, my house, not even a house. It's a 3-bedroom penthouse, which has pretty much everything you could ever wish for. Okay, so 3 incredible bedrooms. You can see that's where I'm broadcasting from. That's what it looks like. We have our own hot tub on the balcony. I wanted to broadcast from the balcony, but there's a lot of wind out there today. So that's the power of this absolutely insane community. I want to thank these guys. They've given me additional Wi-Fi to broadcast so that we don't lose Wi-Fi when I'm broadcasting. They've been absolutely insane. So that is the power of this community. This community is seriously the best community in the world. There cannot be a better community than the Crypto Banter community. So, guys, if you're new, subscribe, join us. That's the only way to get on the bandwagon here. at least 2 streams every day. We are bringing in a whole lot of new streams because the market is starting to recover. We are seeing a recovery. We're seeing an incredible recovery. But the thing is, you need to know where to look for the recovery because the recovery is not happening in Bitcoin. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last 2 weeks, we've had altcoins popping. We've had like these major alts popping. I'm going to show you a few of them that I've kept my eye on. So I don't know if you've been watching Singularity DAO, SingDAO, which is this AI DeFi play, which is part of the Singularity.net project. But look at that. In 7 days, it's done 248%. So there is something happening on the market. And typically, when we think about a bear market, we don't generally get these huge explosions in altcoins. And that's why I think that we're starting to see a massive recovery and people need to pay attention. But you need to know where to look. Look at the KuCoin token, the KuCoin share. The KuCoin token started at about $7.65, and that was a week ago, and has now doubled to about $14. So again, lots happening on the market. You see the same thing with the FTT token, which has had an incredible recovery. I mean, that's gone from $25 to $30. And then you've got other big cap tokens like Luna, for example. Look at the recovery in Luna from about $5 all the way up to about $7.50. So what we can see is that the sentiment is no longer negative. We're no longer in this doomed bear market where people are talking about a long crypto winter. Something else is going on here. It's much bigger than you think. I'll tell you what I think is going on here in a couple of secs. You need to know where to look. And I want to just call up a few more charts that you guys can see it. Let me get some more charts for us to see. In fact, I see that everybody is now back on the stream. Sheldon is back. Fred is back. So basically,
yo, what's up?
The gang is back.
Well, so welcome back, Sheldino. I see that you've been holding the fort incredibly well. Thank you, my friend. Your show has been
awesome, buddy.
Yeah, and Freddie is back, so the full team is back. Sheldon, share your screen. Let's get into some charts. Let's look at what's going on in the charts. I really want to talk about this recovery, and I think we should look at the Bitcoin chart first. Let's look at that Bitcoin chart first.
Let's have a look, buddy. No problem. Let's get Bitcoin up and going. Taking its time in the market right now, but doing well. You know, at least it's not doing massive movements to affect the alts right now. It's allowing the alts to sort of relax, and we can see now that Bitcoin's calming down a bit. The alts are starting to wake up. So right now, it's crazy to see some of these alts. It's been insane. That KuCoin token, you know, that was actually 2 days that big pump. It was literally sitting 2.5 days ago. It was sitting around that $7 region.
You had that Binance FUD, which actually wasn't really FUD. It was talk about Binance Markets, which is a subsidiary of Binance, but is not actually operational on the Binance.com website. And it's around a company that they bought in the UK, a regulated company which they bought. And all the article said was that they may not operate until they're properly regulated and their products are approved. So it actually wasn't even real FUD. But that FUD was enough to see people moving into other exchange tokens. And the other exchange token that got the best of it was KCS. And I'm kind of thinking that it may be a game where exchanges are actually creating this FUD to actually move people away from Binance into the other exchanges. I mean, if you look at KCS up 2x. You know,
it was actually crazy. We were very lucky the other morning to catch it on the show at around 7.5, and literally 2 days later, it's still sitting at 70% plus profit. So it's brilliant.
So let me show you something else. Look at the BNB token. If you look at the BNB token is also staging a bit of a recovery, which is a little bit strange. I mean, why would you get KuCoin benefiting after the Binance FUD, but then you got BNB also starting to show quite a big recovery. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that one's done about 20% in July already.
Yeah, so from the last 5 days, we're sitting in the region exactly 20%.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. In fact, where is my...
Exactly. I have been predicting.
Okay, so we know something is happening. I also want you to take me to Bitcoin, to altcoin, Bitcoin dominance. Let's go to Bitcoin dominance. Before you call up that chart, remember I said that as soon as Bitcoin dominance hit 50%, that is when I said the recovery is going to start. Now go back to when Bitcoin hit 50%.
It hit basically just under close to the 49. So remember this big trend that we were talking about from 2 months ago already. Sorry, just let it load up. There we go. That same trend is where we got perfectly rejected. And I'm kind of hoping we drop that next support. We're approaching that support line. We drop that. The alts are absolutely going to explode.
So if you paint this picture, what this picture says to you is Bitcoin is stable and moving sideways and accumulating. Bitcoin dominance has dropped 20% in the last 10 days. It's dropped from 50% to 44%. So what this is telling us is that people are frustrated by Bitcoin, and that now what they're doing is they're saying, look, Bitcoin has its problems. It has a lot of problems. It has the hash rate problem. It has the ESG problem. It has a whole lot of problems. But we are still buying crypto. We still want exposure to crypto. Maybe Bitcoin is not the right trade. Maybe we've got a whole lot of FUD coming out of China. Maybe the hash rate is down. But we want into crypto. We need to get into crypto. And so what they're doing is they're saying, okay, where are we going to get into? And that is exactly what's happening now. That's what we're going to be talking about today.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Let's do it, buddy. Let's do it. It's exciting to be back.
I'm so happy to be back, man. I'm so happy. We're doing it, man. Guys, in the chat, let me know what you think of the beard. Like, keep, shave. Is this about a beard market? What do you think? Let me know. I mean, I'm going to do what you guys say. If you say keep the beard, I keep the beard. If you say don't keep the beard, I let the beard go. You tell me. I've got a few more days until I'm back in the real studio. And I showed you guys on Twitter. I showed you guys our new studio. It's coming. The new studio is almost ready. Okay. So back to the thesis. The thesis is that the markets are healthy. If you look at the stock markets up until yesterday were at all-time highs. The Bitcoin hash rate out of China is moving out of China, but it is taking a little bit longer than we thought. I mean, I don't know why we expected the hash rate to move out of China very quickly, when effectively it means that you're taking years and years of infrastructure, and you have to set it up in completely different countries. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Bitcoin mine, but it's a massive building with cooling facilities and servers, and it's a massive project. And I don't think that it is logical to think that the hash rate is going to move out of China in 1 week. And that's why the way that Bitcoin was designed with a very incredible feature that not many people talk about enough. And that was the difficulty adjustment on hash rate. In a nutshell, what that means is that the more miners that are on the network, the harder the Bitcoin algorithm becomes. And it's programmed by the Bitcoin algorithm. The more miners, the harder it becomes to mine, and therefore it discourages the miners from being on the network to regulate the number of miners on the network, so you don't have too much or too many. When the hash rate drops, when the miners drop off the network, the hash rate adjusts, and it adjusts downwards. So I want to show you what this looks like in reality. Let me just switch off all these charts. We don't need all these charts anymore. But that is the Bitcoin hash rate. Now, what you can see is that the Bitcoin hash rate dropped to an all-time low on the 27th of June, which I think was around last week. And then on Sunday, there was a Bitcoin difficulty adjustment. It made mining Bitcoin a whole lot easier. And the reason why that's so important is because the easier it is to mine Bitcoin, the more miners are incentivized to come back on the network and to bring the hash rate back to the network. And what you can see here is that there is a hash rate recovery. In other words, the difficulty adjustment which happened, which was the biggest difficulty adjustment ever to happen on the Bitcoin network, it became 27.94% easier to mine Bitcoin. And that was to incentivize more miners to come onto the network. It is the biggest difficulty adjustment we've ever seen. Look at the previous difficulty adjustments. 5.3%, 15%, 21%. We've never seen a 27.94% Bitcoin difficulty adjustment. And that just shows the extent to which the hash rate out of China has dropped. In fact, 50% or more than 50% of the hash rate dropped out of the network. But now it's starting to come back. And it's a combination of the miners relocating, not as much of the miners relocating because that takes time, and the difficulty adjustment, which has just happened. What we also know is that investors look at hash rate to talk about whether the price is, to talk about whether the network is healthy. And usually the Bitcoin price follows the hash rate. You can see that in the chart Freddie, I know you've got that chart. Call up that chart. So that is a chart that shows the purple line, which is the Bitcoin hash rate and the price. And what you can see if you look at that chart is that as the hash rate goes up, the health of the network is perceived to go up. And as the hash rate goes down, the health of the network is perceived to go down. And when this happens, the price usually follows. And so now we're seeing a recovery in the hash rate, as I showed you guys a second ago. We're seeing this recovery in the hash rate, and with it, we're seeing a recovery in the Bitcoin price. What the market is telling you is that the worst may be over for Bitcoin. It may be over for Bitcoin. But my next guest says that there may be another sell-off that's imminent. And that is, of course, Alex Mashinsky. Alex Mashinsky says that because the Grayscale Trust, and remember, we'll talk about what Grayscale is, but because the Grayscale Trust is going to be selling a whole lot of shares or releasing a whole lot of Grayscale Trust shares, we may be seeing another sell-off. So let's talk a little bit about what this sell-off may be about. You want to understand the sell-off? You got to understand what the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is. So for those of you who've been living under a rock, what is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust? Effectively, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is the largest Bitcoin fund in the world. It has about $25 billion worth of Bitcoin. Well, I think even more than $25 billion worth of Bitcoin. What the Grayscale Trust is it's a trust. It's a fund. It's a one-way fund. They call this trust Hotel California. And the reason why they call this fund Hotel California is because as a trust, the trust can only buy Bitcoin. It can never sell Bitcoin. It can only buy Bitcoin. Or for now, it certainly can't sell any Bitcoin. So what investors do is they buy shares in the trust. They deposit money into the trust. Accredited investors can deposit money into the trust. The trust then takes this money and it can buy Bitcoin. And 6 months later, the trust releases the shares. So it's not immediately. When these accredited investors invest in the trust, they wait 6 months before they get their shares. Now, in the past, there's been a Grayscale premium. So there's been a premium of about 40%, sometimes 30%. And what investors used to do is accredited investors like BlockFi used to deposit Bitcoin into BlockFi. You used to take your money. You used to loan BlockFi your Bitcoin. They used to give you a return of, say, 4%. And then what they used to do is they used to take your Bitcoin and deposit it into the Grayscale Trust. Simple formula. They take your Bitcoin, they pay you 4%, they then take your Bitcoin and deposit the Bitcoin into the Grayscale Trust. 6 months later, they get their shares, and they dump their shares at a premium to retail investors. That's what's been happening. And they've been arbitraging this and arbitraging this and arbitraging this. Taking your Bitcoin, paying you 4%, depositing the Bitcoin into the Grayscale Trust, waiting 6 months, and taking the shares and dumping it at a premium. But now the premium is negative. Now, instead of getting a 40% premium when they deposit into Bitcoin, they're getting a negative 10% discount, which means that BlockFi have been taking your Bitcoin and paying you 4%, depositing it into Grayscale, and instead of selling it back to retail investors at a premium of 40%, they are now getting a discount. So it means that they're losing twice. They've paid you 4%, and they're now losing 10% or 12% when they release the shares. Now, in the next week or two, there's a massive Grayscale unlock which is about to happen. It is about 41,000 Bitcoin which are coming online it's actually in the month of July. You can see the releases over here. That is where the releases are. There's a massive release in the biggest release is around the 18th of July. But all in all, there's 41,000 Bitcoin coming onto the market in the next couple of days. My next guest, Alex Mashinsky, says this is going to cause one last big market sell-off. And after that one last big market sell-off, then we are heading for a Bitcoin price. I can't even tell you the numbers. I think he's talking about like 180,000 or 160,000. So let me get the man on himself and let's have this discussion. Let's get this Grayscale FUD out the way and then talk about how to position ourselves for the perfect market recovery. So, Alex, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, Ron, love the beard. Keep it on.
I'm in Mexico, man. I'm broadcasting to you from this. I'm looking at Isla Mujeres over there. One of our fans, a guy called Dallas, put me up here. So here I am.
Perfect.
Alex, okay, so let's talk about this Grayscale Trust. Let's get the FUD out of the way. So let's get this FUD, because there's a lot of FUD about the Grayscale Trust out of the way. When the Grayscale shares release, these are shares that are released from investments made 6 months ago. And these shares are released on the market for retail or unaccredited investors to buy. And these shares were actually given to accredited investors who bought the shares at net asset value, at the value of the assets in the trust, right?
Yeah, so everything you said was right. The most of these buyers are hedge funds, and many of them use leverage to try to. They made so much money in the past, in the last 3 or 4 years, buying or playing this GBTC arbitrage, that they went twice as big or 4 times as big. So they went, and it's not just that they contributed Bitcoin to get the NAV value and try to capture the premium. They also took it on margin, meaning they borrowed money, bought 4 times as much Bitcoin. They gave somebody $1 and got $4 worth of Bitcoin, put it into the trust, got shares, hoping that they will be at a premium, but really they were at a discount, right? They turned out to be in a discount. So when the 6 months comes out, they have to return all of that borrowed dollars to the institution that they borrowed from. But mostly these are hedge funds, not accredited investors, right? That's the differentiator. So hedge funds operate to deliver profit to their limited partners. They have a certain amount of time. It's not just this release. The previous releases also, they've been slow selling. So we know there's this continued accumulation of GBTC shares that people just need to exit. So the clock is ticking. They're all going to need to basically either wait for it to turn into a premium or for GBTC, the Grayscale Trust to turn into an ETF, which may take a year or two. A lot of hedge funds don't have time to do that. So the theory is, and again, right now it's just a theory, is that when all this unlocking comes, the discount is going to drop to, instead of 10 or 12%, to be closer to 20 to 25%. And when that happens, then other hedge funds who look at that discount are going to do the reverse trade. The reverse trade of what we talked about before is that I effectively buy GBTC at a discount, right? So I buy the shares thinking that over time they're going to go to a 0 discount, and I need to short Bitcoin to offset my risk for Bitcoin prices going up or down. So the net result is a slow decrease of the discount, but selling pressure on Bitcoin.
Okay, so the data points that we're looking at here are the following. So this is the history of the Grayscale discount or premium. What you can see over here is that during the whole of last year, the premium was very high. It got to 25%, it got to 40% around here, which is in January, which is in the peak of the frenzy. Now, what happened here is that these institutions said, hold on, instead of actually buying Bitcoin, let's buy the Bitcoin trust at net asset value, hold it.
Contribute Bitcoin, right? Contribute BTC that they borrowed from somebody else, yes.
So, and then sell it to retail investors who are unaccredited, who don't have exchange accounts at a premium of 40%, 25%. But then when the market sentiment turned, the retail investor said, hold on, I don't want to buy this anymore. And you can see that they have to offload at huge discounts. In fact, right now you can buy it at 10.2% discount. And that is before this big unlock that you've been speaking about, right? The big unlock that you've been speaking about is this unlock over here. So that is what the unlock schedule looks like for July. There are 41,000 Bitcoin coming locked in the month of July. 41,000 Bitcoin are becoming unlocked. So there's two things that are going to happen here, if I read this correctly. The first thing is that institutions who were going to buy actual Bitcoin and add actual Bitcoin to, and individuals who were going to buy actual Bitcoin on the market are now going to go and say, hold on, instead of buying Bitcoin on the market, let me rather buy GBTC, which is actually just Bitcoin in a trust at net asset value, but now at a discount of 11% to the net asset value. So that will dry up buying on the market, right?
Yeah, so there's two effects. One is it will reduce the amount that's buying on the market. but also again, it incentivizes, the discount is incentivizes hedge funds and other who are market neutral to arbitrage the discount, and they arbitrage the discount by selling Bitcoin, buying GBTC.
Yeah, sell Bitcoin, buy GBTC, sell Bitcoin, buy GBTC, until you get the premium back up.
Right.
So the trade for our community, to protect our community, is to say, A, you should probably expect this, and B, if it does happen, don't panic. But better, C is the most exciting option. It says, if the Grayscale premium drops to below 11%, you may have an opportunity to panic buy, where people are panic selling, these funds are panic selling. You may get an opportunity to buy GBTC, which is actually just Bitcoin, at a 25% discount or a 20% discount to market value.
So yeah, I think there's going to be some forced liquidations there. And so the liquidations happen because a lot of these people borrowed 4-to-1. So they put 4 times as many assets as they contributed. If the discount kind of starts going below 15 or 15, 18, 20%, that's the time to come in, because that's where that tells you that there's forced liquidations. And Grayscale announced that they're going to do a $750 million buyback as well. So you know there's a floor, you know somebody else is going to step in, but you don't care. If you're long Bitcoin, you should be buying GBTC. You just need to decide at what discount is the right entry point. So again, this is not a bad thing. It's an opportunity. You just need to decide, are you basically arbitraging it, or are you just going long only, buying it at a discount, hoping for that premium to close in? You're still taking directional risk on Bitcoin. It's not like guaranteed profit making in dollar terms. But if you're long Bitcoin, this is I would say probably a better play from a investment standpoint, because you're getting a discount you will never get from Binance or Coinbase or anybody else.
That's what I keep saying. I keep saying it may even be better to sell your current Bitcoin, to use the proceeds to buy back GBTC, and actually to buy the same Bitcoin back at a discount of today, 10.62%. And it probably, if your theory is right, it's probably going to increase.
Right. So again, owning stock is not the same as owning Bitcoin, right? So the tax implications, there's a lot of other things. When you transition, you're going to have a tax event as well. So obviously you need to talk to your advisors, talk to your accountant, and make sure that this works for you. But here is Bitcoin at a discount. You know, normally here the institutions are being liquidated and the retail guys that can take advantage of it. Very rarely the retail guy gets to take advantage of a situation where institutions are in trouble. And unlike you buying fresh new GBTC, when you buy it in the open market, you're not locked up for 6 months. So if you change your mind and you want to get out a little bit later, you can actually sell those shares on the market very quickly.
Okay, so your theory is that in a couple of months this is happening. In the next month, this dump is going to happen. The biggest part of the dump is happening on July 18th, if my numbers are correct, or July 16th. As you can see over here, that's where the Bitcoin dump is going to come. Once that's out of the way, the China FUD is kind of like out of the way now. The ESG FUD
China is already all priced into the price of Bitcoin. So it's not like it's continuous news. Everybody in China who's afraid of the Chinese government already sold their Bitcoin. The miners who needs to move already sold enough to create liquidity to move or close down their loans. All of that is already priced in.
Okay, so what happens after that? Are we then clear, straight line up until December?
Yeah, so I've been saying all year, I think we're going to between $140,000 and $160,000 this year, and we're going to close the year below $100,000, because there's definitely going to be a lot of sellers who think, okay, this is the peak, I'm getting out, Bitcoin's never going higher. So we're going to have some retrenchment and correction, and usually we have a 40% retrenchment. So do 40% on 160. That tells you where I think we're going to end the year at. The good news is that what I'm watching is new account creation on the Bitcoin blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain, and that's an all-time record high. I'm looking at the behavior of the Celsius community. We have over close to 1 million users now, and I'm seeing, are they buying, are they accumulating, or are they selling? And clearly, the market, like you said, is very bullish, very positive. We're not seeing any disruption. We're seeing a slowdown, but no change in direction. So that's why I'm very optimistic and very positive.
I'm going to challenge you. I don't think there's a slowdown. I think in terms of active addresses, I don't have the data on me, but the Glassnodes shows that account, not only is account at an all-time high, but the rate at which accounts are opening are also at an all-time high. In other words,
totally agree with that. I'm talking about the number of transactions, the volume of transactions on the Ethereum network, on the Bitcoin network. That's actually down dramatically. So, it's part of the reason why we're going sideways. So I'm not talking about the account creation, I'm talking about the volume of transactions. So there's less bot trading, there's less institutional trading, there's less retail trading. Doesn't mean there's no account creation. It has nothing to do with how many people are using PayPal or Revolut or Robinhood or whatever. Brand new people for the first time buying Bitcoin. That's at an all-time high.
Hash rate, the China hash rate story is history now. You see the hash rate is coming back because of the difficulty adjustment. So that's kind of like history now. The difficulty will keep reducing until they find equilibrium, right?
Yeah, so I want to put it in context. So Celsius is one of the largest miners in North America. We currently mine over 60 Bitcoin a week. We're soon going to be mining over 100 Bitcoins a week. So we're talking about it from actual experience. It's not like I have opinion about the stuff. And for us, it's, again, we have to pay Bitcoin to our community. One of the ways to do it is to create a factory that makes Bitcoin. So the competition, there's basically 6.25 Bitcoin created every 10 to 20 minutes, and all the miners together competing for that one price. So when the difficulty is reduced, all that means is that the first miner to find the answer to the question is going to get that price faster. So instead of waiting 20 minutes for a block, we're going to go back to waiting less than 10 minutes for a block, right? That's kind of like the difficulty adjustment output. Now, you have to remember that many of the machines in China are older machines. Those are not going to be put back into the market. It makes no sense to take a Bitmain S9 machine that's already been running for 2 or 3 years, rip it out of where it is, ship it overseas, put it in a new facility, and make it work, right? So what you're going to have is the new machines, the latest generation S19s and so on, are going to move. The old machines are just going to get scrapped, right? Or put into other facilities, maybe in Kazakhstan or Iran or places like that, where there's less friction to move the stuff. But I don't think any of those machines, the older machines, are coming to North America. So we're going to see this difficulty rate stay actually lower for quite some time. We're not going to see this bounce back immediately back to the highs that we had before the crackdown in China. That's my estimate. So the mining business is going to stay very profitable, and you're going to see the price, the shares of mining companies, the Riot, Mara, and so on, continue to go higher because they're going to be reporting better and better quarters because of this correction.
Amazing. So Alex, I know you're back on Friday. You're doing a big banter Friday with us, guys. So this is big news. So first of all, banter is back on Friday, but we've actually got Alex for the full hour on Friday joining us for the banter. He's on with me, with Elio, with Mr. Biz, with Wolf. Wolf is back as well. And so, Alex, I think we'll see you on Friday. We've got a 1 hour discussion with you on Friday. We're going to address all of these issues, but I do want to talk to you about one more thing. I'm getting the feeling that investors are saying, look, Bitcoin has its own bucket and it's got its own problems, China FUD, ESG FUD. And for a long time, Bitcoin has been the asset bringing down the market. But now fund managers are going, hold on, no. I want exposure to crypto. Bitcoin may be not the best entry, but there's this thing called Ethereum. And Ethereum has DeFi, and it has NFTs, and it has a whole lot of amazing things working for it. And what they're kind of going is, look, as long as Bitcoin is stable, as long as the market is not crashing, as long as Bitcoin is between 30 and 40,000, forget about Bitcoin. Let's look to the bigger crypto market. Let's look to ETH. let's look to Kusama, let's look to Celsius, let's look to Luna. And so what I'm feeling in the last 2 weeks is that now we've got this stability, and now they're going, you know what, screw this. We're in, we're going into ETH. Is that what you're seeing?
Definitely. And you know, a lot of people give me a credit for seeing things before others. I'm just reporting what our community already did. So in the case of Ethereum, we already seen the flippening, meaning in Celsius, the amount that Celsians hold in Ethereum has exceeded the amount in Bitcoin, right? So what you're talking about already happened on the Celsius platform. And I definitely see the excitement and the accumulation, the greater accumulation of Bitcoin of Ethereum than on Bitcoin. Now, specifically, a lot of this price movement, I think that we're about to see in Ethereum has to do with ETH2, right? ETH2 continues to suck in Ethereum, right? And it's locked up until the ETH2 release actually goes out. And between that and the deflationary in 1559 release that's coming in a month or two, you're going to have very, very a strong price movement to the upside for ETH. So I think a lot of momentum there. DeFi is coming back. A lot of new applications, the largest development community out of anybody. So I'm definitely very bullish on Ethereum and what's happening there this year.
Amazing. So Alex, we'll see you again on Friday. Super excited. Yep. I know you like to banter. It's your Israeli blood. And so I've brought you a whole lot of people to banter with, and we're just going to banter for like an hour on Friday.
Great group. Looking forward to it, and I'll see you on Friday.
Much love, my friend. Much love. See you soon, my friend. So guys, that's what's happening. So the FUD is out the way on Bitcoin. The market's saying, look, as long as Bitcoin isn't crashing, as long as it's not crashing, then let's get back into crypto. And let's get into the stuff that's actually moving. And the stuff that's actually moving starts off with Ethereum. They're looking at Ethereum. They're saying, look, we now know that EIP 1559, which makes Ethereum deflationary. It reduces the supply of Ethereum with every transaction that you do. So just think about this. Every time that you use MetaMask and you get that, like, would you like to increase your gas fees? Imagine gas being burnt. That's what EIP 1559 does. And there is this website, the site's called watchtheburn.com. And you can actually see on the testnet, on the Ethereum testnet, how many ETH have been burnt in the last couple of weeks. And if you look at this, you can see that 90,000 Ethereum have been burnt in the last couple of weeks. So if you look at this is the total fees burnt in Ethereum. You can change it to USD, but that shows you the total number of ETH that have been burnt. The site's called Watch the Burn. So you can see, you can actually get a real feel for how many Ethereum are being burnt with every transaction, which shows you the power of EIP 1559. At the same time, these investors are looking at Ethereum and they're going, let's look at Ethereum. On the one hand, you've got NFTs. NFTs did $2.5 billion worth of sales in the first half of 2021. Now, remember that NFTs led the market correction. NFTs corrected first, and then everything else corrected afterwards. That's quite interesting because it shows that NFTs are almost like a leading indicator of what the market is about to do. Investors are seeing this, and they're going, hold on a second. This industry has done $2.5 billion in sales in the first half of the first year that it has actually been commercially operating. What you can also see is that this decline that happened around April and May is actually starting to recover. So everyone thought that NFTs had crashed. And actually what happened with NFTs is exactly what happened with Bitcoin and with blockchain. It had a big spike, a correction, and now it's starting to recover again. You can see this in all the stats. Big spike over here, correction, starting to recover again. That July is a half month of July, or beginning of July, obviously. And you can see that the correction in NFTs is back and people are starting to buy NFTs again. You can also see signs of life in DeFi. So DeFi led the original bull run. In August, September last year, DeFi is what woke up the entire market. And DeFi is starting to recover again. But this recovery is a much, much, much more serious recovery. This recovery is actually done by or being driven by institutions who are getting into DeFi. So Aave yesterday launched a permission deployment for institutions, or announced yesterday that they're going to do it. Sygnum, which is a Swiss bank, is offering ETH 2.0 staking. So you can see that DeFi is coming to institutions. Staking is coming to institutions. All this is coming to institutions. And that is what's driving this market recovery. So in a nutshell, what I think is happening now is, as long as Bitcoin remains stable, as long as we don't get too much of a sell-off, as long as we don't get liquidations, people being liquidated in crazy numbers again, we should start positioning ourselves for a market recovery. And we'll talk about what positioning yourself for Bitcoin market recovery actually means. But start positioning yourself for a market recovery. And this market recovery is going to be led by Ethereum and DeFi and NFTs. That's what I think is going to happen now. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if there's going to be one more sell-off, but I know for sure that this market is going to recover. And so I'm starting to position myself for a recovery. Sniper, are you starting to position yourself for recovery?
Well, I've been for the last 2 weeks already. Just making sure I know where to put my stop loss. That's it. Just in, definitely. Chart-wise, we're amazing. Everything's still on specials. Takes a little bit of work in the beginning, but once you got that entry, and I think that's a powerful thing to also chat about, Ran, is the power of getting that entry of a coin that will survive a bear market fundamentally is powerful because it just makes it easy. It means you're literally sitting at the bottom and you can allow... it's really powerful to know that the time that it takes to get these entries...
Share your screen. Let's go. Share your screen. Because
cool.
I think you called this recovery about 2 weeks ago when you held firm on KCS, right? I think that was one of your first calls about a week ago or 10 days ago where you said, I'm entering KCS. That was one of the calls that you made.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, it was about a week or two ago. I mentioned it. And then obviously just before this, you could see that blue block that was drawn. It was literally on that day we dipped in there. So what is it? 2 days ago, 3 days ago, literally right before. So it's gotten good. And I think what's important for people to understand is this is how coins are going to react when everything's bullish again. You need to understand that. So by this little difficult stage here, fighting it, the power of getting an entry is huge because now you're sitting in a position where you can literally allow it to do what it needs to do and you don't have to worry. And I think that's powerful.
So let's talk about a strategy. Let's get a strategy going here. So I think the first part of the strategy says you got to decide in your head whether you believe there's going to be a crypto recovery ever or soon. And I think that for me, no doubt that there's going to be a recovery. I think the recovery is dependent on whether Bitcoin goes down and gets liquidated and on the US stock market. Now, when I look at the US stock market, I want to show you a couple of things that make me believe that the bull run in the stock market is not about to end. So one of the things that I've got here is Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is, the Speaker of the House. She's a Democrat. She is out there buying massive amounts of call options on Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, and Nvidia. I mean, let's talk about massive amounts. She bought call options for between $1 million and $5 million on Google, between $500,000 and $1 million on Amazon, between $100,000 and $250,000 on Apple, and between $1 million and $5 million on Nvidia.
Sure.
She's saying there's going to be a run in the tech stocks. She's saying there's going to be a run in the tech stocks. That's what she's basically saying, or that's what she's placing her bets on. Same time, I think you got fund managers who are sitting on the sidelines and they're going, if we put money in the S&P, we can get 2% a year, 5% a year, whatever, 10% a year. If we put money in Dogecoin, we can get 4,200% a year. So they're sitting on the sidelines and they're going, hold on. There's going to be a recovery in crypto because the stock markets are going to carry on running, or that's what the politicians are telling us, or they think it's going to happen, carry on running. They obviously don't know. Or maybe they do know. They probably do know. And now they're saying, well, what are we going to be buying? They're not going to buy the stock market. They're going to start buying these nice assets, these crypto assets. That's why I think that there's a massive recovery. And that's why I think that the best strategy is to say, look, decide in your head whether you believe there's going to be a recovery. If you think there's going to be a recovery, then buy tokens that you can hold through a recovery. So buy the tokens that are going to, regardless of time, are going to recover. Now, you know, I've got my favorite shopping list. I'm going to share a new shopping list with you guys. Matic is on that shopping list. Luna is on that shopping list. Arweave is on that shopping list. Kusama is on that shopping list. And then I'm also starting to take a nibble at some really speculative assets. Okay, so one of them is Uniquely. It's an NFT play. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm looking for an entry on NFTs. The second one is a very interesting one. It's called Nami. Nami is a layer 2 Ethereum scaling solution. It's been around for a while, but they're starting to get a lot of traction. And a company called Dharma Capital, which is the ex-guys from Consensus who set up Consensus for Ethereum, they are the guys that are invested into Nami. Now I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second. If these guys who set up Consensus are now investing in a layer 2, which is called Nami, I want to be in that layer 2. And then there's two other ones which I keep saying, Render and Singularity DAO. I've been calling them on my Twitter for a while, saying, if you want to get into speculative assets, these are speculative ones. So my strategy here is to say, look, take tokens that you know for sure are going to recover, and then buy them. And then it doesn't matter if the market goes down a bit, because, hey, if you wait a month for recovery, then you wait a month. But if the recovery happens now, then at least you're in the quality tokens. Why don't we look at
actually happen? You know, they happen so much quicker than what people think. Yes, there may be a little bit of time down there, but how quickly these coins start to recover, you know, when things turn bullish. You know, right now, I know the bearish stage feels like it's a non-ending stage right now, but it does end. And when it ends, I think they don't understand how these coins perform. DOT was $4 last year. You know what I mean? It was even $3 at some point last year. Link was $2 last year. Like, it's okay for them to have 3 months of a little bit of cooldown. These coins have come from a long way. And in my opinion, we've only just got started with everything now. To assume, you know, these coins have come from massive growth, obviously, in the last year. What do you want to chart, buddy?
So, I mean, look, I think the idea is to say the ones that I think are good for a recovery are, let's look at them, Matic, Luna, Arweave, and Kusama. And I'll tell you why I'm buying each of these while you're calling up the chart. So the reason why I'm buying Matic is because I think that Ethereum has a long way between ETH 2.0, and I think that Matic is the ETH 2.0 of ETH. So all the new development is happening on Matic. The next one that I'm buying is Luna. And the reason why I'm buying Luna is because the traction that I'm seeing in Luna, the undercurrent of new projects building on Luna, reminds me of the old days of Ethereum. And you can see that Luna started to recover. So let's look at Matic. If you were going to buy Matic, what entry point would you look at? I mean, it looks like this now.
Yeah, so all of these, so obviously these quick dips and the big volume shows that there's a lot of orders at the zone. So sometimes they're too quick and they come down, but this is for investment view and for good holding for Matic. Anyway, now, yeah, between 88 cents and $1 would be a good sort of view. And that's just, you know, any little dips. We know Bitcoin does a little $1,000 dip, and these alts take big, strong dips. And we know that the dominance is trailing down at the moment. So it means at any point, and the market's been quite bullish, so at any point, if Bitcoin does have a little spike to the downside, the alts are going to have those little wicks, and you want to catch them on those little wicks. All these ones that come in here on the high time frame, you want to have your buy orders there. So I'd say, yeah, 85 cents to $1. It's on bargain. Look where it came from. What's percentage wise? Even right now, you're buying a 58%.
Let's look at Luna.
No problem.
I see comments that say bull run is back. I am back. I am bullish. I'm always long-term bullish. What I'm saying to you guys now
this is looking better. This is looking a lot better. See, when we get these breakouts and you break these horizontals, you know, remember the imbalance we always talk about when price moves too fast. That's where you'd like to see price go capture. So where we're catching now, firstly, it's good growth short-term, but you are obviously catching this at a huge, let's see, percentage-wise. 66% off the all-time high. So that's huge. So fundamentally, investment-wise, it's a good stage to let in, definitely.
Exactly. So, and again, so why I'm looking at, for example, Luna is because I see what's being built on Luna, which is not yet on the market. And that's why I'm seeing the vigor. There's Luna launch pads, which are starting. There are airdrops, which are happening for new projects, just if you stake your Luna. So for me, this is one that I'm buying. The same thing that I'm seeing on Arweave. So Arweave, again, I keep saying to you guys, this is a token that was at $40. It was at $40. It was at $40. And you can see that it's just about to, or maybe just had the breakout. Maybe just draw your trend line there.
It's nearly there. So it just means a little bit more slow growth, but obviously breakouts come. That's when volume comes in strong. But, you know, even just looking off the previous zone we got to now, you know, this is brilliant stock up zones. You know, you're nearly at the beginning from where it started. That's powerful. It means you're catching it at a really good rate. So yeah, anywhere $8, $11, great top up zones for investing.
Let's look at Rune. Thorchain. Again, Thorchain is the cross-chain decentralized protocol. It's the only cross-chain decentralized protocol that is fully decentralized. And that one is Thor Starter. There's Thor Swap, which is about to launch. So you can see that a lot of development happening around Thorchain. Do you have the Rune chart? Sheldon?
Rune,
yeah. R-U-N-E.
can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I had a little push in the internet there. Let's get the charts up. Look at this, man. It's unbelievable where we're catching these. You're literally catching them at the start before they pumped. It's a huge special, especially this is massive. We look percentage-wise from where we are with Rune. 66% off from the top.
Sheldon, you there, man? I see we're losing Sheldon. Let's see. Sheldon, are you back?
Can you hear me? Am I
we can hear you now.
better?
Yeah. So I think, look.
Sorry, buddy. I see there's little sparks here.
Okay, but I think we got what we need here. So what I think the thesis is to say, guys, if you think that this market is going to recover at some point, then whether it goes down another 10% or 5% doesn't really matter. You still got great entries now. Get in, start laddering in and positioning yourself for recovery. Now, what that means is that you should be buying some speculative tokens and some safe tokens. Now, you can pick whatever you're doing. These are the ones that I'm buying, or that I have been buying. I've been buying Singularity DAO since about $1. It's now $2.32. I did tell you guys on my Twitter. I'm buying Render. I've been buying it since 50 cents. I'm buying it now at 55 cents. I'm buying Uniquely as a high speculation play, a very high spec play. And then I'm buying Nami, which is this layer 2 ETH solution. These are very speculative. You should put a very small part of your portfolio there. The bigger part of your portfolio, put into the safer ones, okay, which is the things like Kusama. I mean, Kusama, if you think about Kusama, the crowd loan auctions, the parachain auctions have started it. If you look, there's only 10 million Kusama in circulation. And over 1 million of those Kusama are locked up in Kusama parachain auctions. I mean, 1 million, 10% is already, and there's only 3 out of 100 parachains. I mean, do you understand what this means? That 3 out of 100 parachains have won the auction slot. There are still 97 to go, and 1 million Kusama are already locked up. Now, remember that the Kusama get locked up for 11 months, for as long as the parachain lives, if they're successful. So just think of what this means. It means that as we get closer and closer to 100, there's going to be more demand, and there's going to be no Kusama tokens in the market. So if you're not buying Kusama now at $232 or $230 or whatever the number is, let's just quickly look at Kusama.
You're going to be buying them a lot higher in the future, definitely. Look at that. That's specials, absolute specials.
Yeah. But I guess it all comes down to one thing.
Investment-wise, perfect, buddy.
It's not parachains, it's parachains. I guess the answer is that we're not going to tell you that we think that a recovery is coming today or tomorrow. We know that a recovery is coming. We just know that a recovery is coming. We know it's not a 5-year bear market. and we know that a recovery is coming. So if you believe that, like we believe that, then start positioning yourself for recovery. That's what you need to be doing. And that means start laddering into the speculative assets and the safer assets. Look at Sheldon's buy zones when he gives you the buy zones. And then put on your big boy pants and hold on tight. And if the market goes down, then don't get salty on Twitter and say, oh, but you told us to buy. Yeah, you told us to buy. You told us to buy. Hold on tight. Put on your big boy pants. If you take the risk, you're going to make the return. And if you wait for the market to recover, then you're going to make very small returns. So if you've got balls or if you've got big boy pants.
Patience. If you're buying the right stuff, patience. You will soon see.
Buy slowly. Don't buy quickly. Don't put all your money. Don't put all your money in. Put it in slowly. Alrighty, guys. So tomorrow I've got Donkey coming on the show because everyone says that I've neglected Donkey, and I do want to get a update from Donkey. Tomorrow we're also going to be doing Q&A. So Sheldon and I are going to be on for Q&A for the super chats. I know that a lot of the guys complain that they do super chats and we don't respond. So tomorrow we're going to be doing Q&A during the show, and tomorrow we'll also bring you two shows: Sheldon's show in the morning, my show slightly later, and then next week,
back in action.
And then again, like I said to you guys, a big announcement. This is the big announcement. The biggest announcement of the day is Fred. Here we go. That's the biggest announcement of the day. So Sniper School launches 1 August. 1 August, we start taking in the first couple of students. I think we'll take in about 100 students. It's going to be about a 15-hour course, which is going to happen over the course of the next week or two. And then you're going to get digital certificates issued on the Arweave blockchain every time you complete this. So that's happening on the 1st of August. Alrighty, guys, I will see you again tomorrow. Sheldon will see you again tomorrow. I see Sheldon is back off the stream. So we'll see you again tomorrow. If you're trading, guys, trade well, my friends. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.